So let's take our first look at the road to 270. What does the playing field look like at the outset of this campaign? So this is how we ended up in 2020. The Trump states in red, obviously the Biden states in blue. It all added up to 306 electoral votes for Joe Biden.
Welcome back. Today we're digging deep into the latest twist in the Trump saga. It seems Trump wants to seal the deal with another surprise. Stick around as we unpack this legal drama that's hotter than a chili eating contest at the North Pole. Let's hop on.
The expected rematch between President Biden and former President Donald Trump is happening.
We're effectively in a general election now. That's just unprecedented in a lot of ways. There's just so many unknowns.
While Biden faces obstacles like concerns about his age and declining approval ratings, Trump is juggling a set of challenges.
In November 2024, Americans will once again flock to the polls like a stampede at a discount shoe sale, ready to decide who will snag the coveted seat in the Oval Office. The outcome of this election isn't just big, it's size of a whale in a teacup big, impacting lives from sea to shining sea and beyond.
No presidential candidates have ever confronted. Here's a look at those challenges and how Trump will try to turn them into opportunities. The 2024 election is gearing up to be a face-off between the oldest nominees in history. And it's going to be the first presidential rematch in the U.S. since 1956.
Today, the U.S. political stage resembles a dramatic two-party tango. On one side, we've got the Democrats waving the flag for civil rights, a safety net thicker than grandma's quilt, and tackling climate change like it's a backyard barbecue gone rogue.
At 81, Biden's the oldest U.S. president to run for re-election.
Is his age going to be an impediment to him being effective? And that is something that's not going away.
Biden's approval ratings have hit historic lows. Trump is entering 24.
Incumbent President Joe Biden, hoping for a sequel to his White House stint, leads this liberal pack, aiming to keep the donkey party's momentum rolling. Across the aisle, we find the Republicans, the grand old party GOP, who are all about tax cuts like they're trimming bonsai trees, downsizing government like a Marie Kondo enthusiast, and standing firm on gun rights and immigration like they're guarding Fort Knox.
With the rising lead above his Republican challengers, in familiar form, he's railing against an influx of migrants to the United States.
They dump them on the border and they pour into our country.
But while campaigning, Trump's also fighting 91 criminal charges.
Former President Donald Trump, the last elephant standing, has rallied enough support to secure the Republican nomination, making waves in the GOP waters like a jet ski in a goldfish pond. Formal nominations will get the glittering seal of approval at summer conventions, promising as much drama as a family reunion with fireworks and potato salad.
Last night's wins, President Biden issued a long statement arguing the threat Trump poses is greater than ever. In his words, he wrote, "Donald Trump is running a campaign of resentment, revenge, and retribution that threatens the very idea of America. Voters now have a choice to make about the future of this country. Are we going to stand up and defend our democracy or let others tear it down?"
Come January 2025, the victor will take the reins for a 4-year joyride through the White House, hopefully avoiding any potholes on Pennsylvania Avenue. The 2024 campaign kicked off with a bang, featuring a motley crew of 15 hopefuls, 9 Republicans, 4 Democrats, and a pair of independents, though most have already bowed out faster than a nap-time toddler.
Will we restore the right to choose and protect our freedoms, or let extremists take them away? The president continued, "I believe the American people will choose to keep us moving into the future. With every crisis, America has always emerged stronger and more united on the other side. This November will be no different, and I believe we will do it together."
Primaries and caucuses zigzag across states like a game of political pinball, with each party polishing their star candidates to a gleam, albeit with rules as varied as a buffet menu. President Biden threw his hat into the ring earlier this year, corralling enough support to cinch the Democratic nomination despite a few underdog rumblings.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax, but he doesn't do anything.
Meanwhile, in the Republican ring, Trump bested his final challenger, ex-UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, as we all know, cruising through enough primaries like a freight train on a sugar high, ensuring his spot at the top of the GOP ticket. be forgotten, the independents add a sprinkle of wild card flair, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr. bringing a touch of the Camelot mystique to the ballot box.
It was a great day of victory. Last week was something very special, Super Tuesday, but now we have to get back to work because we have the worst president in the history of our country. His name is Joe Biden, sometimes referred to as Crooked Joe Biden, and he must be defeated.
NBC News national political correspondent Steve Kornacki is looking at how things might play out for the Biden and Trump campaigns between now and November. Steve?
The rematch is on. It's Trump-Biden Part 2. So let's take our first look at the road to 270. What does the playing field look like at the outset of this campaign? So this is how we ended up in 2020. The Trump states in red, obviously the Biden states in blue. It all added up to 306 electoral votes for Joe Biden.
So as the campaign trail winds like a roller coaster through policy debates and Twitter storms, buckle up. This election promises more twists and turns than a soap opera written by a team of caffeinated meerkats. But before that, let's revisit the criminal issues surrounding Trump.
This indictment of me by the Biden administration's weaponized Department of Injustice will go down as among the most horrific abuses of power.
Donald Trump is gearing up for a rematch with Joe Biden in November, but his legal woes might just steal the show. At 78, he's breaking records as the first ex-president to get slapped with criminal charges, accused of cooking the books and playing fast and loose with election results.
Courtroom tomorrow morning where he will hear the state's case against him. He is facing dozens of charges related to an alleged hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels.
The Supreme Court has given him a partial pass on one of his hefty charges, that he allegedly tried to turn the 2020 election on its head. But he's still in the hot seat, facing accusations of pressuring officials, spreading tall tales about voter fraud, and trying to ride the chaos of the Capitol riot to delay Biden's victory.
With more than a half dozen civil and criminal cases on his plate, let's sort out what Donald Trump faces in each state. Civil case number 1, the New York Attorney General's case, now headed to what's expected to be a lengthy trial. A judge recently ruled that Trump and his family and their companies fraudulently inflated the value of their real estate.
He's facing a lineup of 4 criminal counts, including some serious sounding stuff like scheming against the country and messing with citizens' rights. Some folks thought he might end up with a charge of inciting a riot, but nah, that's not on the menu.
Allowing this case to go to trial, the proceeding will determine other liability and penalties, which could total $250 million, as well as a ban on Trump business dealings in New York. The former president has repeatedly denied wrongdoing, and his attorney has already said he'll appeal the liability ruling. Civil case number 2, also out of New York.
Despite all this legal drama, it doesn't look like Trump's court dates will be coming to a TV near you anytime soon. He's lawyered up, claiming he's got immunity powers like he's some kind of superhero, citing a precedent from '82 that says he's shielded in certain cases. The lower courts haven't bought it, but the Supreme Court's given him a hall pass on some of his presidential antics.
E. Jean Carroll. Here, a jury found Trump committed sexual abuse in 1996 and later defamed Carroll after she went public with her story. They did not find him liable for rape, but ordered him to pay $5 million total in damages. Trump denies wrongdoing and has appealed the ruling.
Could he end up behind bars? Well, the penalties are no joke. Fines and maybe even a vacation in the slammer for up to 20 years. But whether he actually swaps his suits for stripes is a whole nother story. Even if convicted, there's the whole logistical, security, and political mess to sort out.
Well, the multi-million-dollar question tonight, will Donald Trump be barred from New York's luxury real estate business and forced to pay perhaps $370 million for falsifying financial records?
One thing's for sure, Trump seems to be aiming for more than just partial immunity. He's after the full VIP treatment. Imagine that. Now, you've seen what legal issues Trump is facing. Do you think he deserves full immunity? Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. In the meantime, let's see the full details of the surprise package.
Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the court, without presidential immunity from criminal prosecution, there can be no presidency as we know it.
Former President Trump's legal team stirred the pot by suggesting that Trump himself could theoretically give SEAL Team 6 marching orders to eliminate a political adversary, all while enjoying what they claim is the ex-presidential equivalent of wearing a bulletproof suit made of legal immunity. This sparked more controversy than a mime convention with a megaphone.
234 years of American history, no president was ever prosecuted for his official acts. The framers of our Constitution viewed an energetic executive as essential to securing liberty. If a president can be charged, put on trial, and imprisoned for his most
Trump's attorney, John Sauer, when pressed on whether such a jaw-dropping scenario would leave Trump legally unscathed, cautiously nodded with a definitely response. He argued that a former commander-in-chief can dodge legal flack better than a cat dodges a bathtub full of water.
Controversial decisions as soon as he leaves office. That looming threat will distort the president's decision-making precisely when bold and fearless action is most needed. Every current president will face de facto blackmail and extortion by his political rivals while he is still in office.
During the courtroom drama over Trump's alleged election meddling, Sauer doubled down, suggesting that unless the Senate slaps a "you're out of here" sticker on you through impeachment and conviction, trying to prosecute a former president is like trying to book a flight to Mars with a bus pass.
Whether, quote, a president who orders SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival could be prosecuted if he wasn't first impeached. Trump's attorney agreed, giving a, quote, qualified yes. Sawyer claims the founding fathers created presidential immunity to avoid politically motivated prosecutions, but prosecutor James Pierce asked, what kind of world are we living in?
Donald Trump's legal team is pulling out all the stops, urging the Supreme Court to grant him absolute immunity like a superpowered force field for ex-presidents. They argue he should be shielded from criminal prosecution over actions during his tenure, including the controversial attempts to flip the 2020 election like a pancake.
So what do? You just stand there longer, or you take a shower longer? Because my hair, I don't know about you, but it has to be perfect.
In a move that's as bold as Trump's hair color, his lawyers filed a brief claiming that prosecuting a former president for official acts is like trying to catch a greased pig. Messy, unpredictable, and likely to end in a wild chase. This case promises to be as riveting as a reality TV finale.
And if a president could use the state to commit crimes and then not be prosecuted for them. He also warned that it would be a, quote, frightening future if a president couldn't be held accountable for crimes, and said the sweeping presidential immunity that Sawyer was suggesting would put a commander-in-chief above the law.
Special counsel Jack Smith, on the other hand, is playing the role of the stern teacher insisting on a pop quiz, pushing for Trump to face trial swiftly, arguing that the public's interest in justice is sky high, especially when it involves allegations of messing with the election results. This legal tango marks Trump as the first ex-president to face criminal felony charges, making his campaign for presidency seem like a comeback. Meanwhile, his opponents are lining up like fans at a concert, eager to see if the Supreme Court will sing along with his immunity claims or switch channels.
He was to overturn the legitimate results of the 2020 presidential election by using knowingly false claims of election fraud. He went on with great detail to describe how the former president deliberately disregarded the truth, was determined to stay in power, and developed criminal plans to defeat the federal government. Trump called the indictment fake, and his attorneys have suggested his actions.
With his re-election bid hanging in the balance, Trump's strategy resembles trying to juggle flaming torches while riding a unicycle, juggling multiple criminal cases and shouting not guilty to all charges in a bid to paint them as politically driven. If he pulls off a win and returns to the Oval Office, Trump might just try to use his presidential powers to hit the pause button on his legal troubles, or even attempt a self-pardon, turning the courtroom into a reality-bending episode of Presidential Survivor.
True. I like pretzels, and pretzels love Donald Trump. You know, it's not just pretzels. I also like the little sticks, okay?
In this legal showdown, the Supreme Court's decision could sway the future of presidential accountability, making it a legal drama with stakes that are high and as many twists as a pretzel factory. And there you have it, folks. From SEAL Team 6 to immunity fries, we've seen it all today. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more legal antics, and ring the bell to stay updated. Until next time, keep it legal and keep it fun. See you soon.